The Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her. The Pink Pulpits Podcast explores the living, learning, and leading of women in the 21st century. How does the modern woman handle the world the gospel way? This podcast is for women in ministry, women surrounded by ministry, and so many more. Join us weekly on Saturdays at 6 p.m. for the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her.
Hey everybody, it is your faith chick, Lady Nicole Green, and welcome to the Pink Pulpit Podcast. I'm super excited about this new season, and my prayer is that you are enjoying your January. I know, we're on the end, and you're like, Lady Nicole, we're getting ready to be in February. Let me just say this. Let me just say it before we jump all the way in, and before you start looking at me talking about, ma'am, what are we talking about? If January didn't go as you thought, I just need to hear the words, you are not behind, okay? If you're still figuring it out, you are not failing. But hear me clearly, faith doesn't stay mute. And today, I know you're saying January is almost over. And if we're honest, some of us came in very, very hot. Some of us came in very hopeful. And some of us came in tired but trying. And I want to give you kudos. I want to shout you out, okay? But I'm here to tell you your faith, if it has not been screaming to you, if it has not been speaking, it cannot stay mute, okay? As we move into February, I need your faith to get vocal. I need your faith to get intentional. And I need your faith, you know my word, to be unapologetic. That's right. Go get the girl book, because I got a book called Unapologetically Me, The Girlfriend's Guide to Being Comfortable in Your Own Skin. Plug. Now let me get back to the message today. Now watch this. This is a season where your belief stops whispering and starts setting the tone. And if you have not been setting a tone, I need you to set the tone today. I'm going to challenge you to unmute your faith, say what God said, declare what heaven has already decided at the top of the year, and move like you really believe it. Because faith that talks back changes the conversation of your life. It changes the mood. It changes the atmosphere. It changes the outcome. And we are about changing. Remember, we talked about it when we started this year. That's right. I'm Lady Nicole Green. And this is your Pink Pulpit Podcast. And baby, your faith has got to be loud this year. Okay, let me do this. Come in real close. No, closer. 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 You're not close enough. Now, breathe for a second. Inhale. Exhale. I need to talk to you. Because January, I need to ask a real question. How are you really feeling? Not the Instagram answer, not the I'm good, God's good answer, not what you've been posting on Facebook. I mean, how are you actually feeling right now? Because January does something to, I think, a lot of people, especially those of us that live on the East Coast, Midwest, because January starts loud. It starts hopeful. You got the vision board parties. You're visioning. You are laying it out, writing the vision. And hey, you got to let's get the points. Let's see if I really believe this year. Am I really going to make good on it this year? And right now, the conversation in the streets is, I know, I've been hearing it. I'm protecting my peace. I'm not forcing anything. I'm moving slower this year. I've heard that too. I'm choosing rest. And listen, rest is biblical. Peace is necessary. And boundaries, I fluctuate on those. Those can be healthy and sometimes not so healthy. But here's what I'm noticing. A lot of people didn't just rest this month. Some of y'all just went silent. You didn't say nothing. You just were. You stopped declaring. You stopped expecting. You stopped speaking boldly. You just stopped in the middle. You stopped at the top. You stopped at the trying. You stopped. And faith was never meant to be quiet. So today, we're having a conversation. Yes, your girl is going to have a conversation with you. Not a sermon, not a scolding, a real faith forward grown woman conversation. Because faith has a voice. And if your faith hasn't said anything yet this year, this episode is for you. This episode is for the one that says, hey, I know there's something right here in my throat that I got to get out, that I need to be saying. Because Romans 10:10 says it this way. For with the heart one believes unto righteousness, but with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Faith doesn't stay in your heart. It doesn't stay down here in your throat. It doesn't even stay stuck in your mind. Faith moves to your mouth. So today I want to unmute your faith. I want to unmute you. So I want to chat it up with you. I want you to think bigger. I want you to believe bigger. I want you to think better than what you've been thinking. And I'm ready to have a real new faith talk back with you. Now, before you think I'm telling you to be loud for no reason, because y'all like, well, Lady Nicole, you just loud. Yes, I am. And let me tell you why your girl is loud. Because I am determined to live a life of victory no matter what. I'm determined to not allow situations and circumstances to out-talk me. I'm determined to not talk loud. I'm going to talk louder than anything around me because I am going to, we got a theme this year, possess my promises. I'm going to possess what God said. I'm going to possess this year. This year belongs to me. And I told somebody today, and the earth is going to give of itself. It is going to release to me what God said. So I'm going to be loud about it. I want to talk about why silence has been so sneaky. Silence sneaks up on you. You think, I'm just being demure. I'm just kind of just, no, let me talk about this. Muted faith looks spiritual, but produces nothing. I need you to hear that again. Yeah, it looks spiritual. Oh, it ain't producing nothing. Here's the truth. We don't like to admit. Muted faith looks mature. It looks wise. It looks patient. But a lot of times, it's actually fear in a cardigan. We say things like, God knows my heart. I'm just waiting. I don't want to speak too soon. But let me tell you something. In love, remember, I'm going to do it in love. Faith that never speaks never shapes outcomes. Can I just talk about 2 Corinthians 4:13? It says, we believe, therefore we speak. Not believe and then stay quiet. Not believe and hope it works out. We believe and speak. We believe and declare. We believe and decree. We believe and say something. And some of us are calling silence humility when it's actually just hesitation. And here's the danger, people. If faith never speaks, your circumstances will. Your situations will. Pressure will talk. Fear, who am I talking to? It's talking to some of us right now. It is loud. Doubt will talk. Silence doesn't make things better. It just lets the wrong voice lead. And some of us right now, the voice is not the voice you need to follow. I say it all the time in prayer. The voice of the wicked one, I will not follow. Your voice, Father, is the only voice that I'm going to listen to. So if silence gives fear a microphone, what happens when faith starts responding? Can I tell you? Faith talks back to what tries to talk over you. Can I be honest? Okay, let me just say, let's be honest with each other. Can we? Today, remember, we're having a conversation, not a sermon, not a scolding. Life is loud. My brother, who's walking in victory in his body, and we've been declaring it. Watch this. Life is loud. And I said something to him. I asked him, I said, Jermaine, kind of what's been happening? He said, life. You know what he was saying? Life been talking loud to me. Life has been over talking me, dominating me. Bills talk, deadlines talk, diagnosis talk, family dynamics talk, family drama talks, culture talks. And if you don't answer it, it will narrate your life. It will take over, get in the driver's seat, and start driving. Jesus said in Mark 11:23, whoever says to this mountain, be thou removed and cast into the sea, that's what's going to happen. Notice, he didn't say pray about it quietly. He didn't say think positive thoughts. He said say. Faith isn't emotional arguing. Faith is scriptural responding. When fear says, what if it doesn't work? Faith says God is able to do exceeding abundantly above. When anxiety, everybody that dealing with, can I just talk to y'all talking about anxiety? Rocking around with an A on your chest and it don't stand for what the other A used to stand for? You're running out of time. Faith says, my time is in his hands. When doubt says you're tired and you've tried this before, faith says this time I believe and this time I'm going to achieve. Faith doesn't whisper. It responds with authority. It responds and takes by force. And here's where it gets real, people of God. It gets uncomfortable because once faith starts talking, it usually asks you to move. I know. Can I just say this? The main character, faith, must move first and explain later. Faith has to be the main character in your life. Faith has to be the main character. People, can we talk about what people don't say out loud? I don't want to look crazy. I don't want to fail in public. I don't want to start and stop again. I don't want to do this. And then people talk about the way that I did it. I don't want to do it this way. But faith was never about looking polished. It was about being obedient. Hebrews 11:8 says it this way. Can we just break this down? By faith, Abraham obeyed and went, even though he didn't know where he was going. God just said, go. And faith doesn't wait for the applause. Faith doesn't wait for approval. Faith doesn't wait for the perfect clarity or even the perfect climate. Faith moves with conviction. It moves with consistency. It moves with fervor. It moves. Main character faith says, I don't have all the details. I don't even know all that I think I need to know, but I have direction. I don't have all the answers, but I have obedience. I don't have certainty, but I have confidence in the God that I serve. Stop explaining to people that don't have no God, no way, your obedience, who won't walk the journey with you, no way, who will go halfway and stop. Most people ain't going to be willing to walk the whole journey with you. When I look around at we were in this place when we were conquering Kadesh, and who started the journey. And then I look up, because we were talking about no man left behind. You got to recognize some people don't have the faith or the fortitude. They don't have what it's necessary, what it's going to take. And you've got to double down and decide, now I'm going to do whatever I got to do. Because here's the blessing that nobody's going to tell you. When faith gets louder, can we just say this? When it gets louder, What I need you to hear is something else starts getting lighter. I know it felt a little heavy, but when you start speaking louder, that stuff will rise up off of you. When you start speaking louder, it just feels like the glory of God comes in the room. When you start speaking louder, your confidence comes back. When you start speaking louder, don't go back down. What I need you to hear is when faith gets louder, life gets lighter. Some of us are already saying in January, we tired. Not because we're doing too much, but because we're carrying things we were supposed to speak off of us. My favorite scripture, I got much of them, but this one on. Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Words aren't decoration, people. Words are direction. And when faith speaks, hope rises, peace returns, momentum shifts, things get in line, people and places start to take their rightful place. God causes things to become new. Faith doesn't add pressure, it releases weight. You don't need a new plan. You don't need another vision board. You need a faith language upgrade. So here we are. We are at the end of January, and I want you to hear this clearly. You are not behind. You are not late, and you are not disqualified. Can you stay there for just a second? Because I need for you to really say that to yourself. Get it down on the inside. Because the enemy has tried to make you feel already at the top of the year. You're not behind. Girl, you are not late. And nothing you have done has disqualified you. Faith doesn't stay muted. And as we move into February, I need your faith to speak. I need your faith to declare. I need your faith to decide. I need your faith to move. I need your faith to be loud. I need your faith to be directed and determined. I dare you this week. Say something bold. Declare something out loud. And fear, answer it with scripture. Because faith talks back. I remember when you was growing up and you would people would come and start I think they just call it well, I don't want to call it what they call it. They call it talking back. They called it another word, but you was talking junk to one another. You gonna have to talk back and get unmuted. Whenever I'm at home and I'm watching something and my phone rings and we watch something on TV, I immediately mute the television. And because I don't want distraction, I don't want noise, I don't want whatever this person is trying to say to have to be filtered through noise. And what I'm saying to you today is I need you to understand there's noise. There are things that's trying to frustrate your anointing. There are things trying to frustrate your future. There are things that are trying to out-talk you and talk you out of something and get you derailed and get you off and to get you succumb to something. And what I'm saying is you're going to have to hit that unmute button and unmute yourself and talk and then turn it up loud. I mean, go 60 on up. How many you got a TV that goes past 60? I got a TV that goes past 60. Now, I used to have a TV that goes below. My husband got a new TV. He loves a little regular TV. But let me say this. The reason why I say that, because he is so in tune to this new TV. And he's sitting there and look at what it does. And what I'm saying to you, look at what your faith is going to do. Because you're going to, and I can go all the way up to 80 and 85. I'm like, how far does it go up? That's what I want to know this year. How far is your faith going to go up? Change the conversation of your life and talk back with your faith. Make sure that you are so locked in this year that you're making the decision, baby, I am not going to be silent. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to back down. This is your permission slip, if you've ever needed one, to declare with the voice of triumph what your year is going to be. Make the earth give of itself. Make heaven drop down and open up and release to you what God has already established for your life. There's so much more that God has. And I want you to put, there's so much more. If I'll get off of mute, there's so much more. If I will release what God has given me to say, there's so much more. There is so much more, people of God. Somebody asked me, actually today, what is my why? To help people believe for more. To help people believe again. To help them to believe for better. Help them believe in the possibility of what believing can do for them. My assignment is to help you believe. Believe where you got stuck. Believe where life tried to turn on you. Believe beyond. Believe. Get off of mute. Activate your faith muscle and get loud. And watch what faith is going to produce for you because you've decided to be loud. That's right. Faith is loud because it demonstrates God's power. It demonstrates God's ability. It demonstrates. Today, your faith just got unmuted. Today, faith was never meant to be silent. And if God gave you a promise, he gave you a voice. Unmute your faith. Speak what God said before you see it, before it makes sense, before fear gets comfortable. Don't echo the problem. Declare the promise. Faith that talks back doesn't whisper doubt. It announces truth. And every word spoken in faith shifts the atmosphere. So say it again. Stand on it again. Believe it again. Keep your faith loud. Keep your mouth aligned. And never mute what God is doing in you. I know, right? I had to pick it up, and just unmute your faith. I'm Lady Nicole Green. This has been your Pink Pulpit Podcast. Another episode of faith that has prayerfully lifted you, elevated you, and made you decide it's time for me and my faith to be what? Loud! I'll see you next time. Remember, life is a gift. Make the best of yours. Man, we are on a journey to get everything that God's promised. Can't wait to take it with you. See you next time.